Hi, Karen with you today. Thank you so much for joining me for a scrapbook layout for Kitaholic Kits using the October kit. I've gone for a quite monochromatic layout today, focusing on those beautiful blues from the Paige Evans collection. I have added a pop of colour in the yellow, but it is predominantly a blue layout. So I am doing quite a bit of mixed media on this one as well. So to start off with, I have used the stencil we've got in the mixed media kit and just spreading through some modelling paste in the center of the page. I am more centering the entire layout in the center of the page. And I really wanted to show you what I'm doing here. So I am with the leaves, I'll take the flowers away in just a moment. And with the leaves, I am adding and spraying them with the Sheer Shimmer Craft spray in the sparkle color. Now that's a clear sparkle, and oh my goodness, I hope you've had an opportunity to use that this month. If you haven't, I hope you do. It gives the most gorgeous shimmery look to anything that it gets sprayed onto. So you can spray it onto your mixed media, you can spray it onto your cardstock like I've done there, or the ephemera. I really wanted to see what it would look like. Hopefully in the close-ups you can see it. It's quite difficult to photograph because it is quite shiny, but it is absolutely beautiful. While that was drying, I then added some Dina Wakley gloss spray that we got in last month's mixed media kit in the mineral colour. And I've just sprayed that in the area and kept it quite close, my nozzle quite close to the page, because I just really wanted it to be focused in the area where the modelling paste actually was. I do add a little bit of water, but it doesn't really need the water. I'm not sure if I mentioned it already. I did pre-gesso this white cardstock as well. I pretty much do that with most layouts that I'm going to use mixed media. It just allows for things to sit on top of the page without soaking in too much into the paper. I then did add, I wanted to grow into having a little bit of a deeper of that blue that came out in some of the ephemera and the patterned paper. So I did get some Distress Oxides from my stash, and it is the Faded Jeans is the colour. And I've just put some splatters, first initially using the nozzle of the spray, and then I grabbed my fan paintbrush and got some really fine splatters around that area as well. I love using a fanned brush. It gives lovely little splatters across your page. While that was drying, I did do an initial dry using my heat gun, but with the Dina Wakley gloss sprays, it is better if you do leave it to dry naturally. So while that was drying, I then grabbed the tags that I'd fussy cut out of the tag patterned paper, and I have distressed the edges on all of those, and I've also added some string to those as well. So once that was all dry, I decided that the patterned paper was going to become the border of the page. So I've cut some strips off my white cardstock, and then I do gut the actual patterned paper. So I know I'm definitely going to need and want to use that patterned paper again. So I made sure that I gutted some of that paper as well. So about 1.5 inches, or what is that? Is that 2 centimeters? I don't know. I'm not good with the whole metrics back together. I'm not sure, but just a couple of centimeters on each side to make sure that I could have a decent border around that page. So before I stuck it down, I have distressed the edges with my distress tool all around on 4 edges, and then I will glue that down. My photos today are of my nephews, which is, as always, not a rarity for me. I do scrap them a lot. This was from a photo taken. These photos were taken when the family went for, I think we were out to lunch at West End, which is a suburb in Brisbane, and we went to a Greek restaurant, I'm pretty sure. And we just had some fun out in the street. West End had some really cool things that the kids could climb on and things like that. So we took some photos just together that afternoon, and this is just part of that collection of photos. So I did glue down the piece, my cardstock to that white, to the border. I felt it needed that glue because by the time you had all that modeling paste and mixed media, that cardstock was quite heavy. So I felt that sticking it down with some glue would make it a little bit more stable, and it had less risk of pulling apart. So once it was stuck down, I took the opportunity to do some more distressing with my fingers as well. So to put the actual page together, I am using the tags as mounting points, and I am having the photos where they are sitting on one on top of the other. I have placed the photos up on some foam, but on the photo on the right hand side, I only put the foam on sort of halfway across that so it could sit across the left hand side photo. I hope that makes sense. And so then it sort of sits quite comfortably together without making one too much higher than the other. So then I've just added the ephemera pieces, so the leaves that I did put the shimmer spray, on as before, and some of those flowers. And you'll see that's why I tied in the yellow. So I tied in the yellow because there was some of that yellow in the blue flowers. So that's where I felt I could really put that pop of yellow. So I also backed the photos with some tissue paper just to break up that color as well, because the boys are wearing those red shirts, but they had the blue. So that's why I felt that I could still sit there and use and not turn those photos into black and white. And then I added matted the photos. Oh my goodness. Matted the photos with the yellow mustardy coloured pattern paper as well. That featured quite a lot in my layouts this month. I loved that paper. It was perfect for matting and perfect colour, just to give some colour to each page. So I fussed and faffed a little bit around there with where I ended up putting up those layouts. So this is pretty much the end of the layout. Once I'd put that mixed media and once that all dried, it really came together very, very, very quickly. So it still has, as much as I've covered up quite a bit of the mixed media, it still really gave just those subtle looks around the page. So as always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. I love seeing your comments and your likes and people who are subscribing. I really do appreciate it. It means a great deal to me. I have got some close-ups and the final layout coming up. Again, thanks so much for joining me, and I hope to see you next month. Bye for now.